Call to order the Town of New Windsor work session for September 18th, 2023. We have a quorum. Agenda items, approval of minutes from the August 21st, 2023 work session meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
We have a motion second to approve the minutes from the August 21st, 2023 work session meeting. Any comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so carry. Water line from chlorine tank, contact tank to booster station. You have his report, or you want me to give it?
Could you give it?
I got it here. All right. Replacement of the gravity water line from the chlorine contact tank to the booster station started on September 7th. The new pipe will be HDPE fused pipe versus DIP and is being installed via traditional open trench method. The directional drill method was approximately $30,000 more than that price was for no rock. Progress has been slowed by rock, which will likely extend the project into next week. Hopefully, Mid-Atlantic Utilities gets through the limits of rock, and it's not all the rest of the way to the booster station. Director Myers, you have anything else to add to that?
Yes, so it looks like we're to the backside of the booster station, so the majority of the line has been installed. We plan on doing our sanitary procedures tomorrow and then completing the install by Thursday, and we should be in service with the new line probably by Friday morning.
Awesome. All right, very good. Any other questions? Comments? All right. 2008 Dodge Town Truck transmission. Last discussed at September 6th council meeting, and mayor and council requested additional information. General fund capital product spreadsheet. Estimated value of truck if we replace the transmission. Specific type of truck and accessories. The general fund capital project spreadsheet is in tonight's folder and copies have been provided. Director Myers checked KBB and trade-in value is approximately $7,500 in good condition. Private party value is approximately $9,000. The Dodge was purchased in 2014 for $16,000, and it's likely the truck lost more than $7,000 value in the 9 years the town has owned it. KBB is a good tool to estimate. That's Kelly's Blue Book. Is a good tool to estimate pricing on vehicles sold in the area, in our area. However, it's not an appraisal or inspection of the actual condition, which is fair or below average. Public Works is looking for following in terms of a replacement truck: full-size, 3/4 ton, 4x4 pickup, extended cab, hardware and lighting for V-plow, V-plow salt box, and that's pretty much it. Any other comments?
Yes, so the second plow truck that we have, the second plow pickup truck that we have is a 2013. The salt box is also a 2013. After talking with town manager Dye, if we do decide to purchase another truck, I would strongly recommend purchasing a salt box as well. The salt box has been rebuilt twice since we've owned the truck. And ultimately, we'll eventually have to replace some components on that, and just to keep it going. So.
All right. Questions, comments?
So, yeah, is this in lieu of doing something with the truck that we have on order? Did we consider putting a salt box on there?
So the town has 3 vehicles in our fleet for snow removal. So we have the new dump truck that we recently purchased. Right. We're putting a salt box on that. Okay. And we're replacing the 2008 F450 dump truck with that. Right. And then we have the 2021 Ford F250 with a salt box, and then the 2013 Chevy with a salt box and plow. Again, the 2013 is, basically used for plowing right now. We try not to use that truck too much. it's showing its age. It has significant rust, but still runs good. And the Dodge is kind of our runaround truck.
Right.
And basically it would be a combination type purchase, kind of eventually getting rid of the Chevy and also getting rid of the Dodge should you choose to do so.
Okay.
So that is our recommendation, to purchase a new truck and replace the Dodge. However, it's a council decision whether to replace the transmission or purchase another truck.
What we're getting is a dump truck. This will be a pickup truck,
Right.
full-size pickup truck.
Now, Wayne, the one question I do have is if we do go with a full size, 3/4 ton, 4x4 with a salt box, are we going to be able to do that with the 50,000 planned?
Yeah, we should be able to do that. In 21, we purchased another truck that would be set up in a similar way. It was crew cab, and this one that we're requesting would be extended cab. We would see a cost savings there. That was just a budgetary number to plug that in. Now we do participate in procurement, like piggyback contracts with county and the state and different things like that. So we see a significant cost savings compared to just a regular walk-in off the street type purchase. And we typically save, thousands of dollars when we do that.
But there's also been times where it's been better to go on our own too in the past.
Yeah.
You think you would get the piggyback benefit, but sometimes that doesn't always hold true either.
Yeah.
So.
And today's market, the research that we did, basically the used trucks are going for as much as the new.
Mm-hmm.
And with the reduced price with our procurement, it makes sense to go towards a newer truck. And the added stress eventually will end up, plowing Snyder Summit. I think they have a handful of houses left. This would allow us to transition right into those extra responsibilities and really secure the town in a good position.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. You're going to need, I keep forgetting we got a whole new development that we have to take care of.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Let's just suppose, perfect world, council approves this in October. What's the turnaround?
So I really didn't check into a turnaround because I wanted to get more council feedback to see which direction to head. I know the availability of vehicles has gotten, significantly better since the pandemic and since we started talking about the replacement of the dump truck. I wouldn't expect it would be too much of a problem, but we should probably still be cautious. By the time we go through procurement, building an RFP, going out to bid, receiving those bids, and then ultimately awarding the contract, if the council should choose to do so, we're probably still looking towards the end of the year before we could take possession of the vehicle.
As long as it doesn't snow, then we're all right, huh?
We should still be okay with the Chevy and the new dump truck and the Ford, the F-250. I did get an update on the new dump truck. So everything's done on the new dump truck with the exception of the salt spreader. So we should be receiving that truck probably next week.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that's good news.
Very good. I think we mentioned this before, or maybe not, but the Dodge, you just as soon get rid of it, or would it be a good utility truck to go run errands, Lowe's, etc.?
Well, I would probably suggest getting rid of the Dodge just because of the year. And so something that I've always considered with it being a municipal vehicle, just like the county does, so you have your mileage on your truck, which seems low, and then you have your hours. And so there's a calculation that you can do, and it actually adds miles to the vehicle because there's idle time and, plowing and things of that nature. And I would say with the Dodge, there's no snow plow on it, but it idles quite a bit. We used it for yard waste in the past, and you know, a lot of in-town short trips. And typically, we wear a set of tires out in 5,000 or 6,000 miles, where most people can get more mileage out of their tires because we're constantly making turns and we're kind of wearing the tires out a lot more. So
That says a lot.
it does.
5,000 or 6,000 miles.
Like to the mayor's point, would it make sense to keep it, or at least to like go pick up leaves and bring them down to gear, or would it just make sense to get rid of it?
Well, in its current condition, it's probably worth $1,000 to $3,000 needing a transmission, give or take. If I had to put a number on it, Kelly Blue Book shows it a little bit higher, but that's without, you know, significant mechanical repairs like that.
Right.
It could be possible to keep that truck and just run it around town and get some more use out of it, and maybe not take that much of a loss. So that is
Would
an
that be
option.
Putting the money into the transmission to keep it here?
It'd be a gamble if we didn't, but I use stuff called Lucas transmission sealer in it, and so that seemed to help it a lot. But there's no guarantee. It's just
If we keep it around town, what I'm thinking is, I mean, we're not going to be going, because I'm worried if you take it to Lowe's, you get stuck at Lowe's. But if you take it around town, maybe you can limp it back to town hall or something, where you can
Yeah.
at least still use it around town a little bit, and it's not just a loss.
yeah.
It just gives you another vehicle in the fleet.
How heavy was the usage? I know you said ripping and running, you know, but like we weren't pulling anything. I mean, like what I know about that truck is we used it on the Frank Schaefer run just to put, and then the beautification, we put mulch and trash and trash cans.
Those sleep bags can add up to some weight too.
True. But so like based on what we typically use it for now, what would be the life expectancy if you didn't do anything, and then if you did replace the transmission?
Well,
If he could answer that, he'd
yeah,
probably have the lottery numbers.
I know we use that truck at the town farm and the fire trails. It's
Right.
very small and maneuverable. I know it's really good for the alleys, picking up yard waste. It's really good to go to the park, specifically the Atlee Walking Trail. If anything, it would be a good little utility, like gator. A lot of people have gators and side-by-sides and things like that. So that does, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And we pay insurance on it, but we don't register the truck every year. So when we purchase tags as a municipality, it's not like we have that expense every 2 years of purchasing registration.
Right.
It's registered for the life of the vehicle.
Oh wow.
So minimal expense other than the insurance, but I'm not sure what that is.
1,500, 2,000, 1,500.
What do tires run? $2,000.
Well, I believe it has 16-inch tires on it, and I would bet $250, $300 a piece. And it's in need of tires, but if we decide, you know, we just use it as a runaround truck, maybe not driving in the winter as much, we can kind of push that expense back.
All right, well, we'll get more direction at our September meeting. I asked Gary to send out the capital project budget for the next 6 years. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to look at that. We discussed a little bit, but this is definitely something we're gonna have all of our council members and town manager here as well. So, you know, I don't know if anything stood out, you know, but, you know, I think one thing maybe we need to get out to the public sometimes is how much we are spending on projects around town to make town better, roads, you know, of course, the big one was the grant with Blue Ridge and College Avenue. But that's a brand new street, sidewalks, everything, so. But, you know, I mean, I don't think anybody has any kind of idea what projects we have and also what kind of funding we have been spending, so. Maybe we do a work session just on all of our capital projects, both general fund and enterprise. Right now, I believe, unless Dana, you correct me, financially, we're probably in the best shape we've been very possibly in the history of the town. Not that we want to spend every penny, because there's always going to be an emergency come up that we want to have a good surplus on hand in case an emergency comes up. But, you know, I think it's also good to either provide additional services or do paving, improve our parks, whatever it might be. So just keep all that in mind. Is there anything that stood out or things you have questions about? I know, Tom, this is the first time you've probably seen this, but it's a little bit to digest. We are in fiscal year 24, if that helps anybody that might be watching this. But we do have a lot of roads, and hopefully we're getting on track to maintain them every 35, 40 years. Because the last time Church Street was done was probably 83 or something like that, mid-80s. So you figure that was quite a few years ago, basically 40 years. And that's a heavily traveled road.
So Town Manager Dye set the spreadsheet up in a way that we can also plan for maybe a potential enterprise project at Lampert and Hillside Avenue, which would be maybe a sidewalk retrofit or a water line replacement. That street is in need of some attention in regards to the paving, but we wanted to look at the infrastructure as well. And there may be a few grants that we can take advantage of later on down the road. So that's why things are kind of spaced out with that road. If folks notice the shape of the road, we're looking at several different factors before we make such an investment and then ultimately come in there and have to, you know, tear the road back up and replace the water line and things like that.
And on Lampert and Hillside Drive, Lampert, I don't know if it even has any sidewalks at all. I don't think it does. I would like to see sidewalks at least on one side. Now, the north side, I guess it is, which would be on the side of the Lions Club Park, I think is ideal because it would tie into High Street. However, you're going to have quite a bit of retaining walls if you go down from probably that's the 300 block on down where Doc Elliott lives, all the way down to High Street would need, I think, a retaining wall or some severe grading. If you did it on the other side, it's all pretty level. You would just need maybe a crosswalk down right before the last house and then go over, because there's no room for a sidewalk at the last house there on the corner of Lampert and High Street. So maybe we could go across there and have one retaining wall. So that, I mean, that's probably the least, but I just feel as we get more traffic and we got a walking trail from Snyder Summit, we should make it safe to walk on that, because there is a lot of traffic, as everybody knows, on Lampert Avenue. I just think, you know, for safety purposes, we could put a sidewalk in there.
And folks definitely utilize that walkway from Snyder Summit into town, so that would definitely be nice to take care of that.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be on both sides, but it would, I mean, it would be nice to have it on both sides, but, the cost, depending on what the cost would be, and if we could get away with without having to use retaining walls, that'd be fine. There are some telephone poles, but just like on College in Blue Ridge, you just do 5 feet out, bump out from the telephone pole, wherever that is, and do 5-foot ADA compliant sidewalks the rest of the way. One of the side of the Lambert Avenue is not going to be happy because then they're going to have to shovel snow. So, but I think safety should be the highest priority on that, especially while we're doing it and having it torn up. So,
I think having it on that side would also allow folks at Snyder Summit to be able to walk to the park and to actually walk to the post office too. So that would be nice.
Yeah. And with the safety factor, you know, usually the grants that we did for College Avenue, one big issue was safety, because those sidewalks were, well, there weren't even some sidewalks there. Here, there's no sidewalks at all, so people have to walk out in the street, and that's huge when you write a grant that it's unsafe to walk, and especially with the increase of residents that are using that. You can't say that it's an economic impact of any type because there's not really any business that would be beneficial to it, but safety, I think, would be the number one issue. And if we could get, you know, $400,000 or $500,000, that's money we don't have to bring out of our pockets.
If you put it on the north side of the street, how much issue or difficult would it be in that private property next to the Hartzler House?
That's a big bank there.
Yeah. And wouldn't we have to come to some kind of agreement with that property owner?
Well, we probably, I don't know what the distance is, but I'm sure we have a right of way.
Yeah.
An easement or a right of way, I guess it is. But I don't know
How much that is?
what that is. Usually so many feet from the center of the road.
Yeah.
I want to say 30, but I don't know if that's right. You know, Wayne?
I think that's pretty close.
Yeah.
In town, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so typically it's where the telephone poles stop and the public utility right away, where our curb stops and things like that are meter pits. That's typically how it works. And that street is relatively wide. I think the mayor's correct. I think it was about 30 feet.
Yeah. I like the walls. I think it looks good.
Well, I mean, you know, you got a lot of traffic there, and people use it as a cut through,
Yeah.
and people, you know, it's not safe.
Yeah.
And there are some people that don't abide by the stop signs and go more than the speed limit. I mean,
Right.
you know, we can't police everything, but so I just think it'd be safer for a sidewalk. But I call it the north side, and I guess that's what
I think it is.
Yeah, it's the north side, yeah.
north side, whereas the other side is pretty all flat all the way down. So it might be the first house there on the south side. Might have a bank, I can't remember, before Gary Miller's old house.
There's a
Liz
little bit.
Ryan's house, you know, Liz
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah, there's a bank there.
Yeah. But you're
Four or
talking
three, I think.
one, and then at the end, I think that's might be 412 High Street, I can't remember. You're gonna have, no matter where you put the sidewalk, that would have to have a retaining wall as well. So, and that individual, I mowed that for 1.5 years, so if I owned that house, I would love to have a retaining wall there so I didn't have to mow that bank.
Yeah.
So, but take a look at this, and if there's something in your committee that you think, for whatever reason, it's not on here, or you want to throw something out, you know, none of these things are locked in stone or anything, but, you know, for many years, and I'll echo Jack Coe, you know, he wants us to be more aggressive in upgrading our enterprise projects, and can was kicked down the road, and we just can't do that anymore. He always wanted us to be a little more aggressive, and we are now, but either you pay now or you pay later, and it's better if we have the funding to get some of these projects taken care of, and sooner than later, in my opinion. Anybody have any other comments? Wayne, anything particular that you have a higher priority on besides the truck?
No.
Where are we on the Main Street part?
Actually just heard from the gentleman that bid on the project this evening, and they're gonna start sandblasting the pavilion, I believe, Wednesday.
Wow. All right.
Are they going to sandblast?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so the gentleman decided that maybe sandblasting would be a better way to prep the structure.
Yeah.
And so he's decided to leave the existing tin on to deflect the sand, so there's not a sandstorm on Main Street.
Right.
And so he wants to get that done and get somebody to come in and paint it, and then he's going to start working on the roof. I told him about Music on the Main and the timing for that we would like things kind of neat and tidy there, during that event. So he understands that, but it's been a long time coming to get this thing done.
So that roof is tin, and you're talking about sandblasting the underside and keeping it on.
Correct.
I never looked at it, but is that wrought iron, cast iron? What is that? The framing?
So it was steel, and I think there was a color change after it was built, if I remember correctly. And so we have two different paints to take off of it,
Okay.
and to get to bare metal to be able to prime it and paint it correctly.
Yeah.
So
Might have been oil base.
yeah, I believe it was.
Probably. How long ago was it done? 20 years?
12, 20.
Yeah. Oil.
On two
Oil.
mayors, that's 20 years, so at
Yeah.
least probably 24,
Yeah.
25.
Oil base. That stuff lasts though.
It does. But one of the things with me living right across from the park, the soot from the tractor trailers and everything going by, I mean, you constantly have to wash things, and believe it or not, it kind of gets into the siding and stains, and
Yeah.
it stained the paint up there some.
Yeah.
And of course, we've changed emission standards and stuff since all that, but we will have potentially a little bit of money left over after the grant to look at some other things like electrical upgrades with some new LED lights, timers, things like that. But we wanted to get through this just to make sure nothing that would just come up that we needed a little extra money to repair, and kind of give us a little cushion. And it was grant funded, so.
Right. Alrighty, that's good news. Wednesday?
Yep.
All right, good. The only thing that the town manager Di had on here was the annual Frank Schaefer Memorial 5K run / walk and kids run is scheduled for Saturday, October 21st at 9 a.m. at Wakefield Valley Park. Registration can be done on RUNSIGNUP, so it's runsignup.com, and this year's flyer has a barcode you can scan that takes you to the 5K event. Any updates on Music on the Main? It's full. Battle and Vault probably won't be able to, but I suggested that maybe if they had a little something like that on America or Reefs Across America, they either put it at our booth or the Lions Club. So the Lions Club is going to be doing a fundraiser in January for Reefs Across America. They're going to have a dance. So, where if they even come up with something. So I just told them because all their staff is going different directions, so they're gonna be tied up that day, so I offered. We have one more meeting, and that's the last Tuesday. What is that?
Tuesday of the month.
26?
26, yeah.
26, yeah. Next Tuesday. And everything seems to be on schedule. Got 3 regular bands, and the 4th one, the pre-event. Got to just touch base with him one more time.
Is there any news about the middle schoolers?
Ooh,
I got to check with her again.
for face painting?
Yeah.
So I spoke to some kids at Key this week, and they were supposed to call you.
I have to check back with my key teacher too. I'll email her tomorrow.
I was there today, but I asked them on Friday, and 2 young ladies were super excited. I said, okay, call Dana at the town and just tell her you talked to me and that you want to get some service learning hours. And they were like,
Also, we're going to need somebody at the moon bounce too.
Yeah.
so if you haven't heard from them, shoot, I was there today.
While you're calling, do you want to call Springdale and talk to Krisha Davis? Or I can give her a call, but I just figured if you're calling that way, if she says we got a couple, or if they want to split it up.
Yep, I
whatever
gotcha.
they want to do, or if they can get volunteers, they have international students that I would hope could come down for a couple hours and watch the moon bounce. Did that one year, but get a couple service hours in. Friday evening, or Friday rather, I'll talk to Steve Strasburg, or if you see him, about tables and chairs.
Trash cans.
And we have a trailer, correct, that could load them up. Maybe just, maybe Friday evening, if the trailer's down there, we could load them up and probably could back it into the old bingo stand, or however you want to work that, or
Yeah, that would work, and then we could put the stage on there too.
if you need help, if you guys can do it Friday during the day, that's great. If you need help after work, I can help at 5, and we could probably knock it out, and it doesn't take long to load everything up. Like 100 chairs and 40 tables, is that 20? Dave's got it.
100 chairs, 40 tables. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And do we have trash cans, or we use theirs?
We use theirs typically. So I'll have to get the liners for the trash cans.
Right. Anybody have anything else for the good of the town?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn?
Well, second.
A second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
The other two.